And we are going to run a feature called Jungle Book, and it's hosted by the great Grooverider. It's all about the history of jungle, and we spoke to some big players in the game about what jungle means, what jungle is, and what jungle was. Here we go with the Jungle Book.
Good evening, junglers, and welcome to the Jungle Book, my guide to the story of jungle, drum and bass. So, this is chapter 1 of the book. It rests here on my lap, and it's all about how your favourite music came about. So get comfortable and let's begin the story. So we're better to start than the very beginning. We're going to rewind 15 years to when jungle music was just laying its foundations. Here's one of the pioneers, Simon Bassline Smith.
In the early 90s, I was one of the DJs that was playing at a lot of the big acid house and rave parties. I started buying more and more tracks that sort of had breaks in. In fact, started buying some hip-hop, playing the instrumentals, speeding up breaks and playing them out just to be a bit different. I don't think anybody kind of planned that there was going to be a new genre of music. I suppose a year or two down the line, it was given a name, which was jungle.
Bring it, selector! Ready!
And here's another jungle legend, Brian G.
It's just been a long train and stopping at all these different stations, and I think like the train started at Acid House. Our experience coming across these rave parties is what led to the whole drum and bass thing.
And here's your boy Fabio.
It's hard to really kind of figure out where it actually started. I mean, like anything, it starts from kind of numerous strands. You know, a lot of the guys of my age group really were responsible for what we know as drum and bass now. Me and Groove, we've been probably given the credit for the part invention of drum and bass because of Rage, the nightclub at Heavens, which was around, I think, from 1990 to 92, 93.
Rage was a jungle mecca, straight up. Let's find out how important this place was. Here's Goldie on his first Rage experience.
I remember going there in like a full-length goose down, red hot, thinking, I'm great, I'm a cool guy, I'm in London or whatever. So I got in there and I thought, what the fuck is going on in this place? It was like loads of people with their tops ripped off, going mental in this club. Really going for it. And I'm like, what am I doing in this full-length New York goose down? I'm totally out of place. So that had to change, do you know what I mean? So, you know, get your kit off, really. Once I got in, I was in there every week.
One person who rolled with Goldie around this time was Metalheadz DJ Storm. Here she looks back on those early days.
First time he came to Heaven, he was unsettled because he saw black and white and Chinese and Indian, and he really thought it was going to go off, so he stayed upstairs at Rage, very nervous.
31 seconds.
And we said, next time, you need to come down and hear these, who are our gods right now, Fabio and Grooverider, and he listened, and that was it.
There's these two characters, Fabio and Grooverider. Some weeks it would be Groove, some weeks it wouldn't be. Some weeks it'd be Fabio starting, then it'd be Grooverider starting. You never knew which one. You see this silhouette of each, and you think, that's Groove. No, it's not. It's Fabio, because he's got locks. You know, you see a pair of headphones go on, and you get psyched up, and off you go.
That was the real starting point, really. A big major club taking on drum and bass. We was mixing a lot of Detroit techno and German techno with break beats that we used to get on flip sides of house tunes. It was a bit more urban, it was a bit more street, it was a bit more ghetto. We kind of really pushed that sound and started to play more and more of that breaky stuff. Towards the end, it was strictly jungle.
Shy Effects.
When I first went to a party, it was the first time I was seeing like black and white people, Asian people, everyone just down, you know, vibing to the same music. The different genres of music mixed up together. One minute you hear like reggae influences, then maybe punk, hip hop. It's just, I don't know, it just felt like something new and exciting was happening at that time.
Probably sit with 5 people within drum and bass, and they'll probably give you quite different stories into how the history happened.
The one and only DJ Hype.
You know, I don't think there is this one spark that triggered it. Depending on what part of London and who you run with. You know, I come from Shut Up and Dance. I had a sound system with them in the 80s. My influences are slightly different to, say, who Goldie was. Inner city life was the pressure, was the social conditions, was what every urban family had been going through. We felt pressured, the society, we started to have this explosion of kind of, you know, Oasis, Britpop, all this sort of stuff. But the undertone of what was going on in the UK, from an ethic point of view, was terrible. It was dark, what was going on. So, and I wanted to change that, and I wanted to make people pay attention. There was a plan. There was a plan. There was a plan. There was a plan.
So there you have it, boys and girls. That's how your favourite music came out. No glitz, no glamour. Just a few thousand sweaty people in a London night spot with some quick beats. So join me for Chapter 2, the point where jungle started to grow. Good night.
It's a drum and bass history lesson with Fabio on the BBC.
Many thanks to Grooverider presenting the Jungle Book. And you know one thing that is very, very true. As a guy who went soul clubbing, I've been through reggae stages, dub, soul music, everything. And one massive change about what happened in the 80s and the early 90s was the whole fact that you had Chinese, black, Indian, every race of people that you can think of under one roof. And that had never happened before. It never happened. I grew up in the Thatcher years and before that, the kind of 3-day-a-week stuff that was going on in the 70s. And that was one of the major changes about dance music and raving and stuff like that. You really didn't see colour anymore. And, you know, on a social level, that is one of the most important things to come out of raving. And, you know, people want to say this and that, or, you know, you've messed up the kids and stuff like that. The kids learn how not to see race, man. And even to this day, now you see drum and bass is 50-50 black and white, you know, as a crowds and producers and everyone involved in the scene. And that's what's so magical about what's happened now, man. As a unification thing, I think it's really underrated culturally how much it's changed things. There you go. That track is Bombscare. The reason why I played that track, that is the last track I ever played at Rage, which finished in, I think, 92, 93. And that was Too Bad Mice. That was a Moving Shadow. And that was sending that one out to Ryan D. He requested that. A great, great track. As I said, there was many different kind of styles in jungle. It wasn't only kind of like ragga jungle. You had stuff like this as well. On Good Lookin Records, one of my favourite tracks from that era, 19.5. It's the old school selection with Fabio. This is how we do until the end of the show. Play some of them great tracks. And remember, if you want to hear more of this, I'm down at AWOL straight after this. At the O2 Arena, big things. Big shout going out to Mickey Finn. Also want to pick up some of my old junglists, Danny Jungle. Not forgetting my Southmans, Dillinger, Lemon D, Jumping Jack Frost, Brian G. All the old school crew like Metin, Gary. All the crew that used to come down Rage. Caroline, Unique, Wayne. Damn. Memories, baby, memories. It's Fabio, it's Radio 1.
It's a drum and bass history lesson with Fabio, the BBC.
It's a big tune. It's a drum and bass history lesson with Fabio from the BBC.
website bbc.co.uk/radio1. See the listings for the tracks bbc.co.uk/radio1. bass history lesson with Fabio on the BBC.
Call them, let's big up, 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 let's big up.
Don't worry what tonight, tonight's the man them out. Sit.
Call them, let's big up, 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 let's big up.
Don't worry what tonight, tonight's the man them out. Sit.
Call them, let's big up, 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 let's big up. Call them, let's big up, 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 let's big up. Call them, let's big up, 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 let's big up.
Just big up in your chest, no matter where you come from.
Call them, let's big up, 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 let's big up.
Just big up in your chest, no matter where you come from.
Call them, let's big up, 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 let's big up. Let's big up, 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 let's big up.
Just big up with your, big up with your, big up with your chest, no matter where you come from.
Let's big up, 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 let's big up,
Old school business, yes. Before this, we had 19.5, Peshay and LTJ Bukem. That was requested by Paul Ward from London. And this is a personal favourite, All Crew Must Big Up, by the mighty Roni Size. I mean, you could select one of many tracks from Roni Size. These tracks have aged so well, and this track really, from the mid-90s, from the early 90s, sounds so fresh, man. We're doing the old school business, and unfortunately, you know, we had such an incredible response from everyone out there. You know what, I won't get a chance to play everything, but I'm trying to play as much as I can. And we're going to definitely be doing 2 hours of old school next year. Right, here's another personal favourite by another guy that's been overlooked, really, when it comes to jungle drum and bass, Nookie. A guy who sold me my first ever hip-hop tune, My Melody by Eric B and Rakim, and my first ever house tune, Mysteries of Love by Fingers Inc. Way back on 1987. I bought them tunes on the same day. Incredible. And he made stuff like Gonna Be Alright, You Got Me Burning Up. He made some great tunes. For me, personally, this is his best moment. A track called Only You, a track of rare beauty. You're listening to Fabio, you're listening to Old School.
It's a drum and bass history lesson with Fabio on the BBC.
It's a UK thing, it's a worldwide thing. Drum and bass on Radio 1.
Holographic recognition active.
Sound of Joe and R-Type. What a tune that is, man. That is going to get played later without a shadow of a doubt. And before that we had Nookie, Only You. That was requested by Amit Khatri, who's he had a top 10 and he's got some wicked tunes in that. Might play a couple more before the end of the end of the sound system. No, because he said something about Saxon sound system. I all got confused then. You know how it is. Big up to all my Swerve crew. Big up to everyone at the end. Remember that it closes just before the end of January, so make sure you check the club out before the end ends. Indeed. Big up to Ryan and everyone who's represented so well over the last 10 or so years at the End nightclub.
Machine production.
All 28 gun mad boy.
You know the sound of a guy called Gerald. A guy who set it off with Voodoo Ray back in the Acid House days, was one of the first guys from the UK to make a house tune. He came with this heinous piece of jungle. 28 gun bad boy. Send this one out to DJ Bailey, to the Intercrew, to everyone that used to go Stearns down there in Worthing, to Robbie Desert, cause this is yours.
sound standard drum and bass on Radio 1. Drum and bass, 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 drum and bass.
Enjoying this, man. Before this track, we had a guy called Gerald, 28 gun bad boy, original jungle beat. I sent that one out to Jan Hasselman, who asked for that. Wicked stuff. And in the background, you know, we talk about liquid funk and stuff like that. And a guy before Caliber, before all of them cats, the incredible Wax Doctor. Because for me, back in the day, I was a big-time Wax Doctor man. He could make tunes so simple, but make them so funky and so deep, man. And not forgetting Alex Reece, also DJ Pulse, all of those guys, man. They were a part of the Cartel. Miss those days, man. Miss those days. Early Speed. And that came out on Metalheadz, actually. And when you think about the Metalhead sound, you don't normally associate a tune like that with it. But, you know, Goldie brought out atmospheric funk and loads of tunes in this vein. So, you know, that Metalhead sound wasn't only the kind of Metropolis, Dillinger-esque kind of Kilimanjaro sound. It was also a little slice of this. Anyway, I digress because we haven't got a lot of time. And we're throwing down the jungle, baby. Oh, I feel like I'm in the jungle. I feel like I'm a celebrity. Oh, this tune. I remember Grooverider played this tune. And he just said to me, Fab, I've got this tune to play. And he doesn't normally say things like that. He said, yo. All he said was, yo, you need to check this thing out. And he played it, and I just stood there, and the whole club erupted like an avalanche. And I stood there with my hands in my head in total disbelief at the B-line on this tune. Because this kind of subtle intro gives you a total false sense of security of what is to come. The incredible Babylon by Splash. And if you've got a big system, I don't care what time of morning it is, because you can't play this track low, else you won't get it. It's the old school flavours. It's Fabio. It's Saturday night, Sunday morning. This is how we pump it up.
all of the youth shall witness the day that Babylon shall fall. I know that all of you shall witness the day that Babylon shall fall. It's a drum and bass history lesson.
Setting the standards in drum and bass. Fabio on Radio 1.
I love this track, man. Used to play this track at the Edge down there in Coventry. Big shout going out to Neville. R.I.P. Mickey Linus. Also got to say R.I.P. Mensa. Also Murray used to run Dreamscape. Sadly missed promoters who set the standards, so to speak, back in the day, and will never be forgotten. Another person that will never be forgotten, Kemi. of course, of Chemistry and Storm, who passed away nearly 10 years ago and was a fantastic female DJ and probably one of the most wonderful people you'll ever likely to meet. One of the most gentle and kind people. So this next track's for you, Storm, and it's going out to Goldie and all the Metalheadz crew. The track that set Goldie on his way. Track entitled Inner City Life. My father was in this video. And up to this very day, he's got the gold album, gold disc on his wall. And he tells everyone that comes to the house, yeah, I was in this video. But he says that in a Jamaican accent, of course.
Living free.
R.I.P. Chemistry.
I need to be.
Storm, this is yours.
I need to be in your love.
It's a UK thing, it's a worldwide thing. Drum and bass on Radio 1.
It's a drum and bass history lesson with Fabio on the BBC.
Here come the drums.
We are coming close to the end. Still got a few more to fit in before the end of the show. Yes, wicked, wicked stuff. Doc Scott, Here Comes the Drums. One of many mixes that was out there. What a classic. Big up to the Scotty. And of course you had one of the all-time classics, Inner City Life by Goldie. Taking me back, man. Taking me back to the days of Metalheadz and Speed. It was a really exciting time. It was the mid-90s. Speed was West End. It was very kind of in a really glitzy club called the Milk Bar. All white walls and stuff like that. And it was all kind of like really deep, intelligent D&B. And then you had Metalheadz, which was the total opposite. Grimy, incredible atmosphere, and this new strand of music that called hardstep, a much harder, a much more rebellious kind of sound. And these two clubs were running at the same time in a very exciting time. Of course, Bajork used to come down to Metalheadz. Oasis was seen in there. Guys like Arthur Baker and everybody, all the big stars of the day. Nassim Hamid came down. The Spice Girls, everyone represented, man. Hang on.
The Spice Girls.
Yeah, the Spice Girls used to come to Metalheadz. They used to... Yo, listen, right? I don't know if anyone... And you know Spice Girls are kind of like thought of in a kind of... in a fun kind of way. Spice Girls were massive, you know? It was an honour to have Spice Girls in Metalheadz. Yeah, Emma Bunton come down and the scary one, Scary Spice.
Mel B.
Yeah, Mel B. Yeah. She come down and... Yeah. And, you know, to be honest with ya, they came down and was looking at us like, yeah! Like, damn!
They fancied you.
I'm not saying that. I'm not going to blow none of them up. But we was getting some looks. Some tasteful looks as well. James, you know the kind of looks I'm talking about.
I think so.
Right. There you go. Delisha laughing, you know. Man, Spice Girls, you know, it's like Girls Aloud coming to
Swerve.
Yeah, that would be kind of like out there. Anyway, earlier on, MC System was talking about he'd done a track with a guy called Phil. Phil is of from a unit called Source Direct, and they made some killers as well, man. Big up to Phil. Everyone that used to represent. Also Phil Brown, who used to represent the label back in the day, used to have Photic on it, Source Direct. And this is when everything went major. All the major labels picked up. London and Sony, and they were signing people up left, right and centre. And Source Direct got signed up. They didn't really know how to market them. Like, you know, you had the Spice Girls in the charts and you had a tune like this. They were scratching their heads. It's Fabio, it's Radio 1. I enjoyed that so much, you don't even understand. We are going to do 2 hours, hopefully next Feb, and that's not that, it's not that far away, innit? It's funny, it's beginning of December, man. It's incredible. 2009 on its way. But thanks to everyone who wrote us in. And who wrote us in? What school did I go to?
Are you feeling alright?
Yes, I'm feeling fine. I'm just excited hearing all this music again, man. It does something to me. It makes me talk rubbish, basically. But we have coming up, we've got Nick Grimshaw and James Corden coming up at 7 a.m. 5 a.m. we have got the mighty Rasquan with DJ Magic in the mix. But next we have Mr. Jam, and if you missed any of the show, listen again on the BBC iPlayer, bbc.co.uk/Radio1. I know it wasn't working last week. I got crazy amount of people hitting me up going, it doesn't work. But hopefully we've sorted that out and it will be working. So, many thanks to Delisha and James letting me get a whoop whoop. You can tell it's 3 o'clock on Saturday night, Sunday morning, isn't it? That was so weak, it just... Listen, it's best for me to end it. Listen, don't even try and do that now. It's way too late for all that. Anyway, I'm going to love and leave you with a tune. And it's a tune that I feel really personal about. I remember the artist in mind. He came up to me with the track, gave me a tape, and he said, listen, Fab, I've got some tracks. He said, listen to the first tune. And I listened to the first tune, I was like, yeah, they're all right. Track 5, on a tape, actually, it was a D90 cassette. And I heard this intro, and it went a little something like this. And I was like, yo, what is going on with this tune? I heard the B line, I phoned him up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I just said, that is one of the best tunes I've ever heard in my life. Goldie heard it and signed it up on the spot. He was like, Fabs, listen, I'm really sorry, I've got to sign this tune. History was made. And I just called the tune Pulp Fiction. I didn't think of anything else, it just kind of came to me. Pulp Fiction.
Cloverfield?
Yeah, very funny. It was either Cloverfield or Pulp Fiction, and I went with Pulp Fiction, and the name stuck, and this tune has gone down in history. It's got to be in everybody's top 10. Alex Reece on Metalheadz, the incredible Pulp Fiction. So until the next time I'll be seeing you, I'm back in a couple of weeks. Grooverider's back next week. Who's he got on the show, baby?
Noisia in the mix.
Noisia in the mix. It's Fabio saying have a safe night and a safe day, and I'll be seeing you in a couple of weeks. Rider up next week.
on the BBC iPlayer. bbc.co.uk/Radio1.
I'm a hardback Gary man. All right.